Hey guys, welcome to Grounded Roots Healing. This is going to be my third video in a row here. I just feel like talking tonight, I guess. Tonight, again, I'm going to be talking about giving myself a pat on the back, giving myself some credit. So, for those who haven't watched the first and second video that I've ever made, which are tough to watch, they're not the best videos. I was just learning, and but the details are there. So if you're curious in my backstory at all, or my origin story, as I think I called it, go ahead and watch that. But I can give you a Coles Notes summary of where I was approximately 8 months ago. So 8 months ago, I was an alcoholic. I am 6 months sober in 2 days, so I haven't touched a drop. And in fact, I hardly drank at all from the 8 month period on, but I quit completely 6 months ago. I was using a herbal substance to sleep every night, which I was using in excess. I was overweight. I was in tremendous amounts of physical pain. I had all these injuries and pains all through my body, which was essentially crippling me. My knees were bad, my feet were bad. I was struggling to do anything. I was holding on to unbelievable amounts of anger, resentment, hatred, even for certain people that had caused trauma in my life and caused trauma to people I love in my life. Betrayed me. That's the way I saw it. I was in a job that I absolutely was growing to hate. It was soul crushing. So I worked from home. I did a job that was 20 days on, 10 days off, and I was doing 12-hour shifts on the 20 days. Now I'm 47 years old, and I was in the state that I was in. I was not in a good place. So every day was like Groundhog Day. I would work my shift, use alcohol and the other substance, and as much as I could get away with, and still stay married and be a productive father, and well, as best I could. I wasn't much of a father, to be honest. I'm sure they would disagree with that, my children, but that's the way I saw it. And I was on my way to an early grave, to be honest. I mean, I had poor relationships with my wife, my kids. I was irritable. I was angry. I was short fused. When you're in pain and you're suffering that much, you're going to be. And did I finish talking about the job and how much it was? So I worked 20 days on, 20 on, 10 off, and I worked 12-hour shifts. So I would work my entire shift, and then I'd be so tired I'd use all that stuff, and then I would go to bed and then not sleep very well, and then be tired, and then get up and do it all over again. And then I would get to my 10 days off, and by the time the first 3 or 4 days, I was just getting used to, I was either a night shift, so then I was adjusting to the day shift, or it was a day shift, and then I had to switch over to go to a night shift. So and then I wasn't in good physical health, so that wasn't easy. It was getting harder and harder and harder. So I had no life. I had no energy to do anything. I, in fact, didn't do anything. I missed everything. Even on my days off, I didn't have the energy or the willpower to force myself to go do half of the stuff that, I should be doing, really. And then in the summertime of last year, I discovered that I had autism. So I was dealing with the mental consequences of understanding how that had affected me my whole life. That was terrifying. That was like a life-changing thing. That happened in August of last year, so like a year ago to the day. And I was working through that. Now, discovering that, the initial process was terrifying. Like, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what I was going to be able to do, and I had to figure out how to deal with that. I did, but that was a scary, scary time. And I now know that was a time to prep me for the next phase of this awakening journey. So, last December, say December 15th of 2023, that's where I was. I was sitting in a chair. I had my computer at the kitchen table. I was living like that. I was trying to manage my autism. I was trying to manage a job. I was trying to manage all this other issues that I had and addictions, and I was a mess. I'd resigned myself to staying alive as long as possible, and so I could hopefully see my grandkids. But I knew that the quality of relationship I was going to have with them wasn't going to be very good, because I was fading fast. I couldn't even do it with my kids anymore. Now my kids are older, so I it's not like I didn't have times like that when I was a bit younger and I could manage this, but my point was, it wasn't a good path. It wasn't a good path. It wasn't a good, the relationships weren't going to get stronger. Amanda and I's relationship wasn't going to get stronger. It was just going to be taxed and much more difficult. So where am I now? Well, I mean, I'm on YouTube, so that's a bit of a change. So I don't drink at all. In a couple of days, I'll get my 6-month chip, I guess. I don't use marijuana or any other substance at all, and haven't since this happened to me. I've lost 25 pounds. I have energy. My eyes are bright. I feel good all the time. My flexibility's increased. My athleticism is increased. I can do things. Now I've quit my job as well. So this soul crushing job I described, it was not a sustainable way for me to heal myself. So I took the monumental step of quitting a job that I'd worked 23 years to build up to have, to start something new, and I don't even know what that is. Like, I've got a YouTube channel with 43 followers, which I love you guys. Thank you for following me and watching these videos. I can't believe that 43 people actually want to watch me do this, but I appreciate every one of you. It's not paying the bills, okay? So I've took a risk for myself. I have to. I'm using some of my retirement funds to do this, and I refuse to put myself back in that system and to die like that. I won't do it. So obviously I've gained some self-respect. I've learned so much. I can't describe to you this learning curve. 8 months it's been a crash course. I knew a little bit about this. Like I had the mini awakening in 2016, called my Eckhart Awakening. And I knew I'd read a lot of books about spirituality and I understood a lot of this stuff, but I didn't believe it anymore. I didn't have it as a knowing that I have now. And I've learned an infinite amount more. Now, it's come in weird ways. Intuition hits in YouTube videos and stuff like this, but this is the way of the future. This is how you learn. This is how you tune into your higher self, and you get the information direct from the source. And you don't have to spend years learning this stuff. And you never stop learning, by the way. This game doesn't stop. There's levels, and you keep ascending, and you keep learning new things. There's never an end to this. which has been a big problem with my life, because I've often found these things in the autistic speak, they call them special interests, where you'll find something and you'll get extremely passionate about it. And now a lot of autistic people stick with those things for their lives. You know, I think a lot of the university professors who study these obscure little topics, they may have a propensity to autism, but irrelevant. My point is, I didn't do that. I used to get extremely interested in the topic, and then once I learned enough about it, I'd get bored and move on to the next one. And I did this my whole life. I know so much stuff about so many weird things, obscure things, which I now know was intentional for the future that's coming. So, but that's besides the point. Where am I going with this? I learned a lot, and I continue to learn, and I won't stop learning, and there is no end to this one. There's no end to this special interest. It just keeps going. You can keep learning. I learned about Reiki. I've had Reiki performed. This is not something I would have done before I had my awakening. I've learned so much from Jamie, my Reiki practitioner. She's amazing. She's been doing this for decades and knows an immense amount about this stuff, and she's been super helpful for me. I've learned about QHHT, or quantum healing hypnosis technique. I've actually become a practitioner of this. I don't currently practice, but I do see the value in it, and I did learn an awful lot by taking that course. And I've conducted a few sessions myself, and I've had it done on myself. This is another thing I would never have done before my awakening. I had a men's retreat that I went to, which you have no idea how improbable that is, that I would go to one of these. This would not have happened. I went to it, and not only did I go to it, I took full participation in this event. I was a sobbing mess for 3 days. I had a lot of stuff I had to release. I was extremely vulnerable in front of a bunch of other men that I have never done in my entire life. And I did that. I was brave. I have been brave. And I continue to be brave. And I continue to do these things that are way outside my comfort zone. I released trauma, not only at this men's retreat, which I did release a lot of trauma at, but I continue to do it on my own. I continue to do all the shadow work, face all of these demons and these memories and these hurtful things from the past, and then release them, deal with them once and for all. One after the other, I've been knocking these down. They've been coming up, I've been dealing with them, and I've been releasing them. And I mean, I could go on for a long time and talk about them all, but it doesn't. What I'm trying to say here is I'm proud of myself for that. That's hard. This is not, they call it shadow work for a reason. It's no joke. It's scary. It's hard. It's I don't even know how to describe it. Well, you'll see. I mean, I wish you the best, and if you need any help, please contact me. I know I can help you. I've worked on my relationships with everyone in my life. Everyone in my life. I released, like I said, all this trauma, and I've reestablished relationships with people that I had completely cut off out of my life. And I've forgiven them. Now, I'm not sure I can have an actual relationship with these people and have them in my life every day or anything like that. And you don't have to do that. This is not what this is about. The point is to let go of all that stuff that happened when you were a little kid. So I've made relationships with friends like Jamie, my Reiki practitioner, and Jeff, her husband and future husband, and many others. And I know there's going to be more. And I had no friends. You know, my best friend died 5 years ago, and a lot of my friends, because of the autism and stuff in the past, how do I say that? They would be, I don't know how you would put that. It just seemed like connections that I would really make over certain periods of time would end up falling by the wayside. Now I know it was a good chunk of this is my fault because of the behavior from the autism, or I would come across as off-putting, because as I said before, my frequency is a little bit different. So people find it hard to trust someone who says that they never have an ill will towards you, or that they don't want anything from you, or you're being overly nice, like you're doing too much for them and they expect you to want something in return, or you couldn't possibly be that nice. And this is a problem with autistic people in particular, and me in general. You know, so like I said, I didn't have a lot of friends growing up, and the ones that I did make, they were really good friends, but then we'd end up drifting apart, and then they wouldn't be friends anymore. So that's not happening anymore. So I've done that. Relationships with my wife, with my kids, with in-laws, with my extended family, with everybody in my life is better. Way better. Like, it's almost indescribable. They see it. They talk to me about it, and you know, that's worth a lot of money to me. That's worth a lot. It's what I've always wanted, and it is getting better. I am becoming a spiritual teacher. I can't describe how unlikely this is. I've started a YouTube channel. Now, if you go back and look at my first 2 videos, you'll know how uncomfortable I was. You can see it right away. I feel good on camera now. I actually enjoy it. It's cathartic for me. It's a way for me to talk to somebody about this stuff. I know someone else is going to see this, and I know it can help you. And the universe is going to put this in your hands if you need it. So I've become a YouTube celebrity and spiritual teacher. I just need my students, you know. I've got 43, and it seems to be growing every day, and that's a lot for me. So, you know, I've spent a lot of time looking at the next thing I gotta fix, the next thing I gotta work on, how I can get better. It's been a chaotic 8 months. I've been through the absolute ringer, and the other day I got a message that I need to sit back and look at what I've done. Now, if I were to come across a channel of someone like myself who had accomplished all that stuff, I would be impressed. I would. And I deserve that. This has been a ton of work, and I did a good job. I'm not finished, but I can give myself a pat on the back, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. It's the right thing to do. You know, as I said before, my childhood wasn't the best, and I've not often got recognition for things that I've accomplished or done. And it's not anyone else's job to do that for me. I have to recognize what I've done. I have to be happy with myself. And I am. So I can honestly say, for the first time in my life, that I love myself, and I like who I'm becoming. And I think we'll leave it there. Ooh. So, as I always say, I hope this video finds you well. I love you all, and we'll see you tomorrow.